Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation? Hope that you're doing well wherever you are in the world today. I had this thought this morning as I was getting ready to go to the grocery store very early, 6 a.m., because that's when it opened. And I was like, I'm going to go to the grocery store. And I was thinking about how so much of our life is kind of bathed in the decisions we make around fear. And I think that there's two kinds of fear in the world. I think there's really two type of fear that you face in your life. The fear that stops you and the fear that propels you forward, right? I think so often about what it means to show up for yourself every single day while trying to face fear. And you've probably heard me say before, the number one thing I always write down in my journal, first thing is face fear. And the reason that I do that is I don't know what the fear for the day is going to be. It could be speaking at an event, it could be working with a client, it could be my business partners, it could be anything, right? There's that little bit of that weird feeling, that sensation that you get when you're like, oh, this is scary. I feel like that happens every single day of my life. And you have the opportunity to show up and to live your life and to face that fear or to be crippled by it. And it's easy to get crippled by it. And I don't think anyone is free of this. And I want to be clear about this because sometimes I know that people listen to this show and they're like, man, you're so intense. Like, I'm stuck. I can't do it. You can do it. You fully can. Now, whether or not you choose to do it and you decide to do it, those are two very different things. And I think the problem we often face in this process of coming through and rebuilding our identity, discovering who we are, showing up every single day, living life on our own terms, ultimately being the hero of our own story is that we feel like it's going to be too difficult or that it's scary on the backside. Both of those things are true. And so, what I want you to think about is if you carry that and you just accept the reality that both of those things are true, it is both difficult and scary to live your life, then your life will be very different. And in facing fear, I think what always holds people back is not necessarily the outcome, but the first step. I talk about this a lot. The first step, this is the most important thing that you can do in your journey. And that could be about anything in your life. And facing fear will either, fear will either keep you stuck or it will catapult you. Like I look at my life today and I am very happy with my life. I love my life actually. Where I am going, however, and how I got to where I am today was both difficult and scary. My future feels the same way because what I want to build with Think Unbroken and empowering trauma survivors and moving to literary fiction for young adults and teens and creating a media company and growing Think Unbroken to this thing that hopefully far outlives me is going to be incredibly difficult and scary. But then also, I think about my body, my health, my relationships, my friendships. Like, those are all difficult and scary too. Like, how do you tap deeper into those and have a better level of communication and trust and love and hope and joy and all of those things? Like, there's fear involved in that, right? Fear of intimacy, fear of hope, fear of joy, fear of pain, fear of everything, right? We all have fear. It's right here. And the truth is, like facing that fear is going to be the difference between where you're at and where you want to go. And so, what I want you to think about is the fear in your life, is it stopping you or is it pushing you forward? Because if it's stopping you, it's a dangerous place to be. Because when fear stops you and you're immobile, what will happen is we'll start to move towards other behaviors to keep us safe. There's research that points to this idea that people who suffer from alcoholism, once they find a goal in something that they believe in, will often, and this is not always the case, but often no longer be an alcoholic because they have something that is bigger than them that they are moving towards about creating value in the world. Like when I think about my life at its most chaotic, it was when I became of service and to create value in the world that so many of my behaviors, my habits, my patterns, the way I existed and showed up in the world started to change. But even doing that required facing fear. Can I write a book? Can I start a podcast? Can I coach people? Can I do all these things? And the truth about this is, I didn't know what I was doing. We all start at zero. We all start at that very first place in our head right before the first step. And I think if you can just convince yourself to just go one step at a time, that's where you win. And that's where I'm at with this right now, with what's next in my life, trying to build something bigger than me, trying to build this media company, trying to impact my community where I live and change the world from the inside out. Like, it literally started with, okay, I have this idea. Can I just take the first step? And sometimes the first step is like picking up the phone, calling someone, sending that email, watching the YouTube video, registering the domain, right? Whatever that thing is. The first step is always where you begin. And if you can do that, you'll start to cement this idea that if you continually take another step every single day on a long enough timeline, you'll end up having that thing that you want to have. Now, in that, there's going to be a lot of fear that comes up. There's going to be a lot of scary moments. There's going to be a lot of questioning yourself. And that's okay because we all do. I promise you, nobody has this all figured out. I certainly do not. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to screw up, but I'm going to keep going, right? And that fear that we have, whether it's about relationships or money or a career or anything, is not going to go away. I know people who are billionaires. One of my mentors, Grant Cardone, he's a billionaire. That dude talks about fear of losing everything all the time. And that's why he continues to act. He continues to build. He continues to grow. I have friends who are not billionaires. I have friends who are like me and, we're making it day to day and trying to build something and trying to impact our community and the lives around us. And the thing about that is we still look at the idea that fear is right here. We go forward. My clients, many of them, I can't share names obviously, but one of my clients radically transformed her life when we started coaching. She was in this position where she was underpaid, overworked, in a shit relationship, and wasn't taking care of her body. And today she is well paid where she should be, got a promotion, is in an incredible relationship, is in the best shape of her life, and cares about herself more than she ever has. And the reason why is because when we came into this together, she was willing to face those fears. She was willing to put herself in this position of addressing what was in front of her by taking one step at a time. And the transformation was incredible to watch from my side because that's why I coach. Like, I know I don't talk about it a lot on the show, but the reason that I coach people is for those moments. It's looking at that and going, wow, that is such an incredible testament to the human will. When you make a decision to face your fear, you can have everything that you want. And so that said, fear is going to be there. It's okay. Accept it. Acknowledge it. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be scary. Like, that's how this goes. But can you just take one step today to move towards the life that you want to have? Because if you move that one step, guess what? You're one step closer than when you started. Unbroken Nation, thank you so much for listening, my friends. I appreciate you greatly. Please, of course, like, subscribe, comment, share, tell a friend. And until next time, my friends, be unbroken. I'll see ya.